Hey there, let's talk about something that's on the minds of a lot of men, but is often hard to bring up even with close friends or partners. Are you worried about your performance in bed? Do you sometimes feel like your erections aren't as firm, as reliable, or as long-lasting as you'd like them to be? Maybe you've had those moments of doubt where you find yourself thinking, is it gonna work this time? Will I lose it halfway through? And that thought alone creates a wave of anxiety. If that sounds familiar, I want you to pause and take a deep breath because you are absolutely not alone in this, and there's some really good news I need you to hear. For the vast majority of men, especially those under 55 who are otherwise healthy, these erection problems don't usually come from a permanent physical condition. And the best part, the solution doesn't necessarily need to come from a little blue pill or a complicated medical procedure. Over 90% of the time, the root cause isn't physical at all. It's psychological. It's about stress, about anxiety, about focus. And because of that, the most powerful, long-lasting solutions are also psychological. That's what I want to share with you today. I'm going to walk you through 7 simple, natural exercises based on principles of psychology, sexology, and neuroscience that can help you achieve harder, longer-lasting, and more reliable erections without pills, without gimmicks, and without shame. Before we dive into those exercises, a quick but important disclaimer. If you have a known medical condition such as heart disease, diabetes, neurological issues, or if you've had prostate surgery, then your situation may be different, and it is essential that you talk with your doctor first. What I'm sharing here is intended for men who are generally healthy, but are still struggling with frustrating performance issues that seem to come out of nowhere. If that describes you, you're in exactly the right place. Let's start by looking at the foundation, because before you can fix something, you need to understand how it works. Erections are not magic, and they're not mysterious. They're actually about something very simple: plumbing. That's right, plumbing. An erection happens when blood flows into the penis and stays there. That's it. Blood flows in, the penis becomes firm. Blood flows out, it becomes soft. The entire physical process is about managing blood flow. So if you're healthy, if your arteries are clear, if your heart is pumping fine, what on earth could stop that from happening? The answer in most cases comes down to one word: adrenaline. Adrenaline is the hormone of survival. It's what your body releases when it senses danger, when it feels stressed, when it detects even the smallest hint of anxiety. Think of a time when your heart raced before giving a speech, or when you narrowly avoided a car accident. That rush you felt was adrenaline. Now here's the crucial part. Adrenaline doesn't care whether the threat is a tiger chasing you through the jungle or the fear of not performing in bed. Your body reacts the same way. It kicks in survival mode, and when survival mode is switched on, your body shuts down anything non-essential. And in the moment of danger, sex and erections are not considered essential. Adrenaline redirects blood away from your skin, away from your digestive system, away from your penis, and pumps it into your large muscles so you can run or fight. On top of that, adrenaline is what's called a vasoconstrictor. That's a technical way of saying it makes your blood vessels narrow. Imagine your penis needs a 5-lane superhighway of blood to get fully erect. Adrenaline slams down 4 of those lanes, leaving you with one narrow, jammed road. Even if your body wants to create an erection, it's almost impossible to get enough blood through. The gates are closed. This is why men can be perfectly healthy, yet still struggle. It's not their heart. It's not their testosterone. It's not that something is broken. It's the mind-body connection being disrupted by adrenaline. The good news is, if you learn to manage the anxiety, you can literally reopen that gate. And that's exactly what these 7 exercises are designed to do. Now let's start with the first one, because this is foundation. Exercise 1 is about reframing your anxiety. Most men, when they start to feel nervous about their performance, instinctively fight it. They get angry at themselves. They think, oh no, here it comes again, and that reaction pours gasoline on the fire. The key instead is to notice it without judgment. Think of it like a smoke alarm going off in your body. The alarm itself is not dangerous. It's just a signal. So when you feel anxiety rising, say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. This is just adrenaline. It's just a chemical shift. That small act of acknowledgement stops the spiral. It takes the sting out of it and begins to let your body reset. That leads into exercise 2, eliminating the fear of failure. This one is huge because performance anxiety is often rooted in one simple fear: that you won't get hard or you'll lose your erection. And that fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You worry, the worry triggers adrenaline. The adrenaline blocks blood flow and you fail. The cycle feeds itself. To break it, you need to redefine the goal. Sex is not a test you pass or fail. The goal of a sexual encounter is not to achieve some textbook erection. The goal is intimacy, connection, and pleasure. If you consciously shift from "I must perform" to "let's enjoy this moment together," the weight lifts. That shift in focus reduces adrenaline, and ironically, when the pressure goes down, erections come much more natural. Exercise 3 builds on this and may surprise you. It's about shifting your focus away from your penis. Here's the trap a lot of men fall into. They become spectators in their own body. They keep checking, am I hard yet? Is it staying? Is it strong? That constant monitoring is itself a form of anxiety. You're no longer engaged in pleasure. You're running a performance audit in real time. The exercise here is radical but simple. Stop focusing on your penis. Let it be the byproduct of your arousal, not the center of your attention. Trust your body to do what it knows how to do. Your role is not to force an erection but to create an environment where it naturally emerges. Which leads us perfectly into exercise 4, focusing on what actually turns you on. If you're not thinking about your penis, what should you think of? Everything else. Engage all 5 senses. Look at your partner, the curve of their smile, the way their skin moves under your touch. Listen to their breathing, their words. Feel the warmth of their body, the softness of the sheets, the texture of skin on skin. Smell their perfume, their natural scent. Taste their kiss. When you immerse yourself in sensory detail, you root yourself in the present moment, and when you're present, arousal builds naturally because you're feeding your brain with erotic fuel instead of anxious thought. Now let's go deeper with exercise 5. Be present and use your imagination. Remember, your brain is your biggest sex organ, but if your brain is distracted, thinking about work deadlines, bills, or that awkward moment earlier in the day, you're not in the moment. Mindfulness is the antidote. Notice what's happening right now, in your body and around you. But also, don't be afraid to use your imagination. Fantasizing is not cheating. It's harnessing your brain's natural arousal engine. Thinking about scenarios, memories, or fantasies that excite you produces a completely different chemical cocktail than stress does. It calms you, heightens desire, and sends the signal that it's safe for blood to flow freely. Exercise 6 is about harnessing your breath. This one is beautifully simple and incredibly effective because your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. When you breathe shallow and fast, you tell your body you're in danger, and adrenaline floods in. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you send the opposite message. I'm safe, I can relax. So here's the exercise. Inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. Hold for a count of 4, then exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 6. That longer exhale is key because it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for calm and relaxation. Just a few rounds of this will literally reopen the blood vessels that adrenaline closed. It's like flipping a switch. And finally, exercise 7, broaden your definition of sex. One of the biggest sources of pressure is this narrow, rigid idea that sex equals penetration plus orgasm. When you define it that way, anything less feels like failure. But when you broaden your definition to include kissing, touching, oral, manual stimulation, sensual massage, laughter, intimacy, all of a sudden the pressure dissolves. You realize that you and your partner can have deeply satisfying, intimate experiences with or without a perfect rigid erection. And ironically, once you remove the pressure, erections tend to show up more often and more reliably because they're no longer the main event. They're just a natural part of the experience. So let's pull this together. The 7 exercises as reframe your anxiety, eliminate the fear of failure, stop monitoring your penis, focus on what turns you on with all your senses, be present and use imagination, use deep breathing to reduce adrenaline, and broaden your definition of what sex really means. Notice how each of these strategies isn't about forcing an erection, they're about creating an environment where your body naturally does what it's designed to do. And when you approach sex this way, something beautiful happens. You stop obsessing about performance and start rediscovering connection, intimacy, and confidence. You realize that you're not broken, you're not less of a man, you're simply human, with a body and brain that respond to stress in predictable ways. And now you have the tools to change that response. So be patient with yourself, practice these exercises, share them with your partner if you feel comfortable. With time you'll notice not just better erections, but deeper enjoyment and less anxiety in all areas of your life. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep practicing. Your sex life is not over, it's evolving. And when you approach it with curiosity and kindness, it can become more fulfilling than ever before.